Because when you desperate and you want healing and you want to be surrounded and you know that I'm not crazy and I need somebody to confirm this for me.
Welcome to the season premiere of Behind the Confident Smile, a safe space for women to reveal the truths they carry beneath their confident exteriors. Each episode features honest conversations about the struggles, challenges, and experiences that often remain hidden. Much has changed since we last spent time together. The country elected a new president. Black women are doing their level best to rest despite the deep-seated desire to help put out a fire they didn't start and tried their hardest to keep this from happening in the first place. And I'm a new mom again. While cuddling my newborn, breastfeeding, and doing my best to rest, my husband doing the same, I found myself reflecting deeply on this pregnancy and postpartum journey thus far. I thought about all the new things I've learned and began wondering how many families actually have access to the resources, information, and caring medical professionals they need. And I'm not just speaking from my own experience. The numbers tell the story too. A Borum Care survey from May 2025 found that 90% of U.S. new mothers felt under-supported during postpartum, rating their support as fair or poor. Only 19% of Americans have access to paid leave through their employers, and just 40% have personal medical leave via short-term disability insurance. That means over half of parents lack basic protections during pregnancy and postpartum. And then I watched Tyler Perry's movie, Straw, and some of the undertones of its plot resonated with me. People who need the most help in critical moments get lost in systems, or how a single dollar over an income threshold can disqualify you from being eligible for resources that could help your family make it just one more day. These reflections have shaped what you'll see this season. For the first half of this season, we're diving into the many facets of motherhood, its beauty, its challenges, and the systems that impact it. I invite you to join the conversation, bring a friend, watch the replay, and most importantly, take action. We begin that journey with this week's season's premiere episode, The Weight of the Supermom Syndrome and the Silent Pressure to Have It All Together. We'll have a real conversation about Danielle Patterson's postpartum journey, the challenges of asking for help, and how she's learning to let go of the mask. Together, we'll explore what it means to be vulnerable in motherhood and to give ourselves permission to be human, not perfect. Welcome to the show, Danielle. Let's go behind the confident smile together.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for
wonderful.
having me.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. It's so important that we talk about postpartum. Why? Because so many people experience it.
Right.
After you have a baby, you're immediately in the postpartum era. There's so much time spent on preparing for the baby, taking the bump photos, maybe even throwing the baby showers, reading the books of what to expect when expecting, but what to expect when we're in postpartum.
Right.
So take me back to the first time you heard about the postpartum experience. What did you hear?
I think it was more so, like you said, about the joys of motherhood and like what to expect when the baby comes. And it was more so about caring for the baby and not really caring for yourself in the capacity where, oh, don't lift stuff and, just the basic stuff. Make sure you change your, all the stuff that we got to do after we have a
Yes.
baby. It was more so about caring for the bodily changes, not so much about the mental.
And
That's
the
what
emotional.
and the emotional. So it was a lot about the physical for me. Yeah. And so after I had my daughter, it was kind of like, okay, now what? You get sleep deprived. You start to see like, oh, I need help, but you don't have the help that you're essentially looking for when it comes to that mental and emotional healing that needs to come after having a baby. And of course, it's not overnight.
Right.
But I don't think I had that much knowledge about the changes that I would feel emotionally. So yeah.
So when you say the changes you felt emotionally, walk us through what that meant for you.
Yeah. So for me, my journey was a little different, and I'm sure others may feel the same, but I got married, I had a baby, I essentially lost my job, being laid off. All these things happened to me over the course of a few months, a couple of months.
wow.
And so it was just a shock to my system. I felt like, okay, God, what do I have to grab onto? Like everything, my comfort zone is gone. Like I don't have anything. I'm just out here just like Adam and Eve recognizing that you're naked, right? And so for me, I didn't know who I was. It was like so much had changed for me. And even in addition to that, when I got married, I moved to a new neighborhood. And I didn't really grow up in the hood, right? I grew up where I heard ambulance, I heard police sirens, but it wasn't constant. I didn't hear gunshots and things like that. But then when I moved to another neighborhood and also working in gun violence prevention, the trauma, the fear, just all these different things just started happening. And I was like, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't have no comfort zone. What is a comfort zone?
Were you pregnant at the time where all of these changes were happening?
Yes. Yes, I was pregnant. And it was just so much for me.
What does it mean to adjust to whatever the new normal is after you like, I don't even know who I am anymore?
I don't know if I adjusted to the new normal. I think I was so focused on who I was that it was like, I just got to move through this because I have a child that I have to protect. And I have a daughter. And I think that was the biggest thing for me. And my mom's going to laugh because her and my grandma and my sister, apparently I was a bad kid. And so, they would say, oh, it's going to come back to you when you have your child and blah, blah, blah. And I think also I had a fear of having a girl because I lost my dad when I was a kid. And like, that was like the first thing that came to my mind. I don't want her to lose her dad. Like, I don't want her to have to experience the trauma I experienced. And I also recognize that as a parent, you can't put your traumas on your kid, right?
Right.
So I felt like I was definitely forced into trying to figure out what a new normal looked like. But it was just so hard because everything just changed so much for me. And I was too busy trying to grasp onto who I was and what I used to have and how I used to feel and how I used to look. So it was definitely, it was a process for me. So yeah.
Wow. So much change before more change, right? Because in the postpartum, like you said, your body, like whose body is this?
Who is this?
And the thoughts, where are these thoughts coming from? Or my mood swings, the hormones are up and down and around. And did you, when you said needed the support emotionally and mentally, what support do you wish you had now that your daughter is 7 years old, right?
7.
So you're 7 years from giving birth and going through the experience of holding a newborn and not being walked through anything outside of physical changes. What do you wish you would have had?
So, as you might know, when you get married, some of the friendships that you used to have, a lot of single friends that you used to hang with, go different places with, sometimes those friendships fade. And that's where I was. And like, I didn't have pretty much people I could talk to without feeling judged as if I'm crazy, And so that's what I was missing. It was more so the friendships and just the kiki and the reminiscing and just the support, even spiritually. So I didn't have that. And so that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean when I say like support, and even just guidance. Like, you'll get through this, people to talk to about how I'm feeling. At the time, I didn't have a therapist, obviously, because I lost my job. So
Right.
it was like, where your insurance at? So yeah, I just felt alone.
You felt alone even with having a husband. Because sometimes that's a taboo conversation to have, right? Out loud.
Right.
And what was that like? Say, I'm married, I have a spouse, but I still feel by myself.
Well, I guess I should put a disclaimer. It's different when you're not really friends. That's where that comes in. If you don't know this person that well, and it's like you didn't have this basis for friendship before that, it can be difficult. And so that's where it was. Yeah.
Right, because you were newly married.
Newly married. We didn't date that long. And so, you go in here like, oh yeah, Jesus did this and it's going to be great. It will, but
It takes work.
It takes work. And then it also, did you spend enough time in that place with God to really figure out if this is the person you should be with?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were dealing with a lot.
Let me tell you something. I still be like, Jesus, what?
Compounded.
Jesus.
I am about to be 5 months postpartum soon. So just all the internal things, but having to manage that on top of what's going on, did that drive you crazy?
Of course it did. In addition to that, as someone who lost a job and now I'm a stay-at-home mom, which I was very, very grateful for, because a lot of people don't get that opportunity, right? But deep down inside, I felt inadequate. Why? Because I went to college. I got the degrees. I'm very passionate about what I do or what I desire to do. I was independent. I didn't need a man to give me my money. I go make my money, right? My grandma was my shero in that. Like, she did what she had to do, right, to take care of her family and take care of herself, right? And so now I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm caring for my child. Great. But I'm like, I don't feel like I'm bringing much, right, as far as income and things like that. So it was eating me up because, I want to be able to help in that sense.
And contribute.
Yeah. So that's another, thing, especially for women, when it's like, well, I'm not working and doing this. I want to be able to go get my own nails done and do all the things that I desire to do, right?
Right.
So yeah.
I'm Wattice Gathings, inviting you to tune in to the premiere episode of Sisters Talking, a monthly program that brings a cross-generational group of Black women together, creating a safe, embrace space for honest, fearless discussion about the issues and challenges and opportunities for growth experienced by Black women. Join the conversation Tuesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. on CAN TV, cable channel 19, or stream online at cantv.org or on the CAN TV Plus app. Experience the power of community television.
Did you ever experience anxiety or depression during this time?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it. Even while I was pregnant, I think that's when I realized I wasn't really healed from a lot of different things. Like my dad was murdered when I was 8 years old. And so me working in gun violence prevention was me trying to give back, trying to mentor kids who were around the same age as me, to talk about gun violence prevention, to talk about just advocacy and things like that. And then when I moved, all I was hearing was gunshots and seeing red tape and then talking about my story over and over and over again. And then going home and recognizing I have a husband who has to go to work at early in the morning. I found myself running to the window to make sure he gets in the car. And then having thoughts of like, what if somebody breaks in? How will I protect myself and my child?
Wow.
So yeah, it was a lot of anxiety and obviously depression when I talk about how I couldn't get out of this mindset of accepting this new normal because I didn't want that to be normal because I knew how I was feeling mentally and emotionally. I'm like, I don't want to, this isn't normal to me. I should be confident. I should be excited to raise a kid, like have my daughter and, you know, things like that. But I wasn't. I was scared. I was just down because I didn't know who I was. I know who I used to be.
Right.
And even in that, and God was kind of like, you can't be focused on who you used to be. Obviously, in this season where I have you now, I'm breaking you down to eventually build you up into this new person that I desire for you to be. Because even in that season, I felt sad because I was like, well, God, I didn't know you at all. And it was kind of like condemnation was heavy. And I just felt like, Lord, I didn't know you. I spent all that time in church, spent all this time having these Bible studies and things like that. You had to break me down for me to even realize that I'm nothing without you. And I guess that's what I was missing in that. But that's still up for... We still working on
We're still
that.
working through that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh man, there's so many layers. Because we are complex human beings, and I want to go back to the isolation piece and how you turned your isolation and what you were feeling and experiencing to be a problem solver, right? You're like, I don't have any friends that are moms. Where do I find them?
Right.
Walk us through that path of your journey towards building community. And even before building community, why did you see that as important?
Well, one thing I say, when I set my mind to something, I'm going to do it right. So obviously I recognize and I thank God for this self-awareness that I have. I recognize, well, I need to be surrounded by people that may know how I feel. When I started Postparty, it was more so like, I'm not driving to Wicker Park. I'm not driving to Ukrainian Village. I'm not driving that far. And as a new mom, sometimes we be scared to drive on the expressway with baby in
Because
the back.
people not driving that well.
No, people are not. So I'm like, I'm not driving that far to go to these things, but I recognize in that moment, like, obviously these things are happening, but they're not
Yeah,
happening where I
gatherings
am.
for the mamas.
Yeah, gathering, mommy and me yoga and just postpartum support groups and everything. But I was like, okay, well, there's that. That's happening. I just need it to happen closer to home where we see this in our communities of color, where we see these stories about moms hurting themselves or hurting their children. And it's like, well, what are we talking about? Because when we look at news articles, it doesn't say this mom was going through postpartum or, she had a baby and this happened and she did this and it's murder and it's manslaughter and it's, but no mention of her emotional stability after having a child. So I was like, well, we need to talk about these things. And so did the research and immediate like, well, I'm going to host something where moms, black and brown moms can just come together and you can wear your lounge, you can wear pajamas and
Come as you are.
come as you are. And it doesn't matter if your hair done or if it's not done. This is a safe space. I know how you might be feeling right now. Stop trying to get dolled up. Just come. What Drake say? Hair tied, no makeup on. What he say? You know what I'm talking about. That's it. Because I don't feel like doing all of that.
Come unmasked.
Unmasked, right? And so at that time, my cousin owned a boutique. And so she was like, well, you could have it here. And so that's how it started. It started as a tea, like just a party. We had tea. We had the first one. It was more so a DJ. We had mimosas. We had those things. And we just had conversations because that's what I needed. And I know that's what other moms needed because, in the Black community, you'll be okay. Just baby blues. Pray about it. Yeah, I'm going to pray that the Lord sends me somebody to talk to, right? And so, and it just took off from there. It just took off from there.
Wow.
Because when you desperate and you want healing and you want to be surrounded and you know that I'm not crazy and I need somebody to confirm this for me. Yeah. So you're going to do what it takes.
So how many months postpartum were you when you hosted your first post-party?
6.
Event? 6. So you were fresh.
Yep. That's why I said desperate. Like, I know I need this community because, you research, you read all the things, surround yourself with friends, like have your friends come over. This is what, support looks like. And I'm like, oh, well, obviously I need to go find it. So, so yeah.
What would you tell yourself maybe 2 to 3 years before you had a child about postpartum? What would you tell that Danielle?
Make sure you have the right partner to help you in this season ahead. To have a good health and wellness routine. And to build community for where you want to go. So like whether it's I have friends who are moms already or like people who are married, have some of the people in your group.
In your life already. Build it before you need it.
Right, because it's like if I don't surround myself with these kind of people for where I want to go, then how I'm going to get there? If I don't have the access to people who've been through things.
Right, like
and
a
know
roadmap.
Yeah.
Guides.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Break down the health and wellness plan. What does that mean for you?
Well, I know what fitness and like having a therapist and those things could do for that. I didn't really start my fitness and wellness journey until a year after I had my daughter. And so looking back, I'm like, dang, I probably should have planted this seed, earlier. But even eating right when you're pregnant, eating right postpartum, and then the whole breastfeeding thing, like you just want to know what is going to be beneficial to your body and how it's going to help you in the long run to be able to heal effectively and in good timing. So that's what I mean. Like having a good routine, what is your nutrition and diet and exercise. So I'm not gonna say I wasn't doing none of that, but it wasn't as consistent as
and more intentional.
Intentional. Yeah.
What do you want the call to action to be for families and friends of those who are experiencing their postpartum journey?
For family and friends, show up even when they don't ask you. Because I think that's what's missing. People think, oh, because she married, her husband helping her. No, show up anyway. Show up to her doorstep with a pan of lasagna. Specifically. Like sit with the mom, help her fold some clothes. Nobody told me how much baby clothes you was going to have in them socks.
Oh, them socks.
I was like, Jesus. So go over there and help fold some socks, something like that.
That practical support.
The practical support.
Or if they have older children.
Yeah.
Play with the older kids.
Right. Yeah. Wash your hands. Do all the things. Take her for a walk. Just show up and be intentional about not giving up, about showing up for somebody. Because you think, oh, well, she don't want me around her. No, she might not know what she needs, or she doesn't know how to verbalize what she needs in that moment, or even what he needs as a new dad. Like sometimes even dads get overwhelmed and don't know what to do, and so show up for both of them. Even if it is a hello, what you need, send the Uber Eats, Grubhub, anything. But just let people know that you're there, and not just there. Let me take that back. Don't say that you're there, because people can say that all the time. Just show up with that lasagna.
With that lasagna. Is what it also sounds like to me is deepening the relationship, right? Because when you show up for others, that's opportunity to deepen the relationship that you have.
Yeah.
That's a helpful and practical lesson. Also, helping others to know how to inject themselves, right? Because sometimes it's because we are in a world of talking about boundaries, and people are being more mindful of respecting boundaries, but you don't know what a person's boundary is unless you ask, right?
Yep. You won't find out till you cross it.
Or just say, hey, are you comfortable
right.
if I can offer this service to you?
Right. Giving them an option and say, hey, I'm available Friday at noon or something like that. And they're like, okay, cool. And then nothing happens. Show up anyway. If she don't answer the door, leave it by the door. Leave whatever by the door. Even if it's a flower. I don't care. But show that you're being intentional about it. Not just say, I'm available, right?
I love that. Oh, Danielle. This conversation was delicious.
Yes.
Thank you for opening up your life to us, to let us peek in about your postpartum journey, before postpartum, current, and a little bit of what you've learned and what you are doing to give back to other moms. Thank you for that.
Thank you for being here. Yeah.
That's our time for this week. Let's stay connected on social media. Share your questions, comments, show ideas with me at Behind the Confident Smile Podcast on Instagram. Thank you for making Behind the Confident Smile a part of your day.